How much money have you lost by holding on to things you don't use? Think about the overflowing closets, the drawers that barely open, the items you bought and forgot about, that top with a tag still on it for 2 years, the fondue pot used once, the DVD collection that nobody watches anymore. Each of these items represents money sitting idle, wasted space, and time spent organizing, cleaning, and searching for things amid the clutter. I discovered something astonishing. I calculated how much I've spent over the last few years on unnecessary things, and the number left me in shock. Over $15,000 spent on items I barely used or that didn't make a real difference in my life. Money that could have been earning interest, traveling with me, or fulfilling much bigger dreams. Today I'm going to show you how Japanese minimalism completely changed my finances. I'll share exactly how I transformed my cluttered home into an organized space that helps me save and make money. These aren't just decluttering tips, it's a proven financial strategy. When I started studying the Japanese lifestyle, I realized there's a direct relationship between having fewer things and having more money. The Japanese understand that every item that enters the home comes with a cost that goes far beyond its price tag. Each object takes up space, requires maintenance, cleaning, and eventually a place to be disposed of. The first step in my transformation was crunching the numbers. I took a shoebox that had been stored away for over 2 years. Inside, I found 8 pairs of shoes I no longer wore. I calculated, each pair cost me an average of $200. That adds up to $1,600 just sitting in a box. If that money had been invested, even at a low return, it would have generated at least $300 over that period. And the worst part, I also spent money on the space to store those shoes. In my apartment, each square meter costs approximately $10,000. That box occupied 0.5 square meters, meaning $5,000 of wasted space on things I didn't use. The math of minimalism is simple. The less you buy, the more money you have left over. The less you keep, the less space you need. The less space you need, the smaller your house can be, the lower your rent and the smaller your bills. Let's look at the concrete numbers. After applying the principles of Japanese minimalism, I managed to 1. Reduce my monthly purchases by 40%. 2. Decrease my spending on cleaning products by 30%. 3. Save 25% on my electricity bill by having fewer appliances. 4. Earn $5,700 by selling things I no longer used. Cut my house cleaning time by 50%. I started with my wardrobe. The Japanese know that clothing is one of the biggest sources of clutter in Western homes. I took everything out, absolutely everything, and sorted it into 3 piles. What I actually wore, what I could sell, and what I would donate. I was shocked to realize that I only wore about 20% of my clothes regularly. The rest was just sitting there, taking up space, gathering dust, and complicating my life when it came to choosing what to wear. I sold the items in good condition at an online thrift store and managed to recover about 30% of the value I spent on them. Does that seem like a little? That was $850 that went straight into my account. Afterwards, I did the same with electronics, books, and decor. In total, I recovered $5,700 from items that were just taking up space in my home. But the impact goes far beyond the money recovered from sales. The real savings come later, when you completely change your relationship with consumption. I started asking myself before every purchase, how much value will this bring me for how long? How much space will it take up? How much time will I spend taking care of this item? Most purchases failed this test. The Japanese have a very conscious approach to space. In traditional Japanese homes, every centimeter is used wisely. There's no extra room that turns into a storage dump, and no garage that has never seen a car because it's piled high with boxes. I reorganized my home following this logic. Every item needed to justify its space. I discovered that I could live comfortably with much less than I imagined. I reduced so much that I was able to free up an entire room, which was practically a storage space before. Now I rent that space as an office, generating $850 per month. That's $200 a year that goes into my pocket thanks to minimalism. In the kitchen, the transformation was equally impressive. I had 5 different types of pots, 3 garlic presses, and specialized utensils that I used only once in my life. I reduced everything to the essentials: a pressure cooker, a good frying pan, a medium-sized pot, and basic utensils. The result? I used to spend 30 minutes every day searching for things, organizing the mess, and cleaning items that I barely used. That adds up to 182 hours a year. If we calculate based on my hourly wage, I saved over $9,000 annually just in time. A fundamental point of Japanese minimalism is the idea of using each item until it's completely gone. How many times have you bought a new cleaning product because you couldn't find the old one in the clutter, or purchased something you already had because you forgot you owned it? That's a thing of the past in my home. By having less, I can see and use everything I own. My products last longer, I buy less often, and I don't waste. The numbers don't lie. Previously, I spent an average of $550 per month on unplanned purchases, those impulsive buys done without real need. After embracing minimalism, that amount dropped to less than $100 per month. That's a savings of $5,400 a year. The beauty of Japanese minimalism lies in functional simplicity. It's not about living with almost nothing or having a home without personality. It's about having exactly what you need and use, organized in a way that makes your life easier, not more complicated. My wardrobe today has a total of 40 pieces. Does that seem like a little? I can create many more combinations than before when I had over 200 items. Why? Because now every piece goes well with the others. They all match my current style and are in perfect condition. I spend zero time deciding what to wear or searching for that specific top amid the clutter. With fewer things to manage, my productivity has significantly increased. I work from home, and I used to waste at least an hour a day tidying up before I started, looking for documents or just getting distracted by the disorganization around me. That meant 5 hours a week, 20 hours a month, and 240 hours a year. Almost an entire month of wasted work because of the clutter. The Japanese understand something that took me years to realize. Clutter is not just an aesthetic issue, it's a financial drain. Every minute you spend looking for things, every duplicate purchase because you couldn't find what you already had, every inch of your home occupied by unused items, all of that comes with a real monetary cost. Minimalism has taught me to stop buying solutions for problems that wouldn't exist if I had fewer things. How many times did you purchase organizers, boxes, shelves, and storage systems just to manage the quantity of objects? I used to spend about $200 a month on organizational solutions. Today, zero. I don't need solutions because I no longer have the problem. My cleaning routine has also changed completely. It used to be a 4-hour marathon every weekend, moving things around, dusting decorative objects, organizing items out of place. Now 30 minutes is enough to keep everything spotless. This gives me another indirect benefit: free time that I can use to relax or invest in income-generating activities. Let's talk about the bathroom. There were 18 different products for skin and hair, many half-used or nearly empty. I ran the numbers. I was spending an average of $250 a month on products that piled up and expired before I could use them completely. Now, I have 6 products that I actually use every day. My monthly spending has dropped to $80, saving me $2,040 a year. Another interesting aspect is how minimalism has reduced my spending on gifts. I used to buy random items for friends and family, often things that would end up in a drawer or be donated. Now, I prefer to give experiences or consumables, a special dinner, tickets to a show, a nice bottle of wine. These memories take up no physical space and create much more valuable moments. The impact on my mental health has also had financial repercussions. With less visual and physical clutter, my stress levels have decreased considerably. I was sleeping poorly, experiencing frequent headaches, and spending money on medications, doctor visits, and even therapy to cope with anxiety. Part of these problems simply vanished when I organized my environment. Annual savings just from health, approximately $3,600. One of the most valuable principles I learned from Japanese minimalism is the concept of a place for everything. It seems simple, but it's revolutionary. When every item has a specific and logical place, you 1. Don't accidentally buy duplicates. 2. Don't waste time searching. 3. Quickly identify when something is missing. 4. Maintain organization with much less effort. This directly reflects on your finances. Important documents at your fingertips mean bills paid on time, with no interest or penalties. Visible items mean you know exactly what you have and don't spend money on things you don't need. Minimalism has completely transformed my grocery shopping as well. Before, I would fill my cart with products that ended up expiring in the fridge or pantry. I was wasting about $200 a month on food that got thrown away. With my new organization, I can see exactly what I have and only buy what I need. The result? A savings of $2,400 a year just from food waste. The Japanese are masters at utilizing small spaces, and this inspired me to rethink every inch of my home. I realized that I didn't need more space. I needed fewer things and better organization. This allowed me to choose a smaller apartment when I moved, saving $600 a month on rent. That's $7,200 a year going straight into my savings. One exercise I highly recommend. Calculate how much each square foot of your home costs, whether in rent or mortgage. Then assess how much space is being used just to store things that you rarely or never use. In urban areas, where the cost per square foot easily exceeds $10,000, having a 100-square-foot room serving as storage means $90,000 tied up in space for keeping junk. The cabinets in my laundry area were a whole other story. I had duplicate cleaning products, many half-used, others expired. When I organized, I discovered I only needed 6 basic products to keep the house clean. I used to spend $180 a month on cleaning supplies. Now I spend $50. That's an annual savings of $1,560. Minimalism has also helped me identify where it's truly worth investing. Instead of having several cheap items that break easily and need to be replaced, I started buying less but higher quality. A single good pan that lasts 10 years is more economical than 5 cheap pans that need replacing every 2 years. The impact on my electricity and water bills was also surprising. Fewer clothes mean fewer washes. Fewer electronics plugged in result in less energy consumption. Fewer items to clean mean less water used for cleaning. The average reduction in bills, $140 per month, totaling $1,180 per year. What impresses me most about Japanese minimalism is not just the clean aesthetics, but the functionality. Every object must have a clear purpose and be used regularly. If it doesn't serve a practical purpose or bring true joy, it doesn't deserve to occupy space in your home or in your budget. I applied this principle to my subscriptions and services as well. I cancelled streaming services that I barely watched, apps that I didn't use, and magazines that piled up unread. Total cut $230 per month, or $2,660 annually that used to slip away unnoticed. One important point: Japanese minimalism doesn't mean living without comfort or giving up everything you enjoy. It means making more conscious choices and keeping only what truly adds value to your life. In my case, I invested in a good chair for work and an excellent mattress, as these items directly affect my health and productivity. I saved on excessive decor, unnecessary clothing, and gadgets that would only be fleeting novelties. The holiday season used to be a time of true terror for my wallet and for the organization of my home. I would buy expensive gifts to impress, decorations that would only be used once a year, and excessive food that ended up in the trash. After adopting minimalism, my celebrations became simpler, more meaningful, and much more economical. Reduction in holiday spending, approximately 60% or $3,000 saved. Another unexpected financial benefit was the ease of making changes. When I needed to move to another city for work, I spent only $100 to $800 on the entire process. A friend with a similar amount of furniture, but many more belongings, spent over $8,000 on the same move. The difference? I had only the essentials. The Japanese method of folding and storing clothes also revolutionized my wardrobe. By folding vertically and organizing by categories, I can see all my pieces at once. The result? I use everything I have more evenly, my clothes last longer, and I buy new items much less frequently. Estimated annual savings on clothing, $3,600. In my kitchen, the transformation was equally significant. I reduced dishes and utensils to the essentials for 4 people, my immediate family. Previously, I had complete dinner sets for 12 that I used once or twice a year. Those items took up an entire cabinet. Today, that space holds non-perishable food, which allows me to buy in bulk and save. Impulse buying was another huge financial drain. Cute items, seasonal decorations, promotions on things I didn't need. These all ended up in my shopping cart with alarming frequency. Minimalism taught me to ask the crucial question: will this add real value to my life? Most of the time, the answer is no. A powerful exercise was calculating the cost per use of each item. That designer bag that cost $900 and was used only 3 times has a cost per use of $300. In contrast, a basic t-shirt that cost $70 and was worn 50 times has a cost per use of just $140. This simple math completely transformed my purchasing decisions. The living room, which was once dominated by a shelf full of decorative objects and books that no one read, now has just a comfortable couch, a side table, a lamp, and a few plants. The space feels larger, easier to clean, and much more pleasant. The sense of spaciousness holds a value that can't be measured in money, yet it definitely impacts your daily well-being. The weekly cleaning routine has also transformed. Previously, it was an exhausting process of moving objects, dusting countless surfaces, and trying to organize what was already disorganized. Today, it's a simple and quick task. Less time spent cleaning means more time for activities that really matter, including those that can generate extra income. Speaking of extra income, with the free time I've gained by simplifying my life, I've been able to develop a small side business that now brings in about $200 a month. This would never have happened if I was still spending hours dealing with clutter and mindless consumption. One of the biggest resistances we face when considering minimalism is the fear of needing something we've discarded. The Japanese have a straightforward solution for that. If you haven't used it in the last 12 months, you probably won't need it. I applied this rule, and in over 3 years I've only had to replace 2 items that I donated. The total cost? $120. Much less than the cost of storing hundreds of objects, just in case. Children are often used as an excuse to accumulate things. It's impossible to be a minimalist with kids, they say. But I've realized that children adapt easily and even benefit from more organized environments. My 7-year-old son is able to keep his room tidy because he only has toys that he actually uses and enjoys. Fewer options lead to more creativity and less frustration when it comes time to clean up. The home office was another critical point. Papers piled up, materials were scattered, dry pens took up space in the drawers. By applying the principles of Japanese organization, I reduced everything to the essentials. The result was not only aesthetic but functional. I work better, I can focus more easily, and I produce more in less time. This directly translates into the potential for greater earnings. Another important financial aspect: the smaller your consumption footprint, the less income you need. This means you can work less, pursue a job that pays less but offers more satisfaction, or simply save more for important goals like retirement or buying a home. Speaking of buying a home, the principles of Japanese minimalism allowed me to completely rethink what I needed in a property. I realized that I didn't need a large apartment, just a well-designed one. This reduced the amount I needed to finance by 30%, resulting in savings of over $150,000 over the course of the loan. Home maintenance also dropped drastically. Fewer possessions mean fewer things to break, fewer surfaces to wear out, and fewer items to replace. My annual budget for home maintenance fell from $5,000 to $2,000, a significant saving. One aspect that many do not consider is the psychological impact of living in an organized environment. When your home is in order, your mind is too. This leads to better financial decisions, fewer impulse purchases, and greater clarity about what truly matters. It's hard to put a dollar amount on this benefit, but I can assure you it's substantial. Another indirect financial gain from Japanese minimalism is the ease of finding what you need. It may seem trivial, but how many times have you purchased something new because you couldn't find what you already had? Or lost an important document and had to pay to get a duplicate? Or missed a deadline because a crucial paper was lost in the clutter? All of this has a real cost. My pantry today is a perfect example of how less can be more. Before, it was always packed with products that often expired. Now, I only keep the essentials in appropriate quantities, all visible and accessible. The result: I spend less, waste less, and always know what I need to buy. The Japanese have a very healthy relationship with used and recycled items. I've learned to value second-hand goods and to sell what I no longer use. This has created a constant flow. Instead of accumulating, I keep things circulating. I sell what I don't use, and when I need something specific, I first look in the second-hand market. The savings are substantial. My bed and bath linens have also undergone a minimalist transformation. Instead of several sets that are rarely used, I keep only 3 sets of each: 1 in use, 1 clean in reserve, and 1 in the laundry. This is sufficient, takes up less space, And since they are of better quality, they last much longer. The garage, which used to be a storage area where the car barely fit, now comfortably houses the vehicle and still has space for bicycles and essential tools. Everything has its place. Nothing is piled up or hidden. When I recently needed to change a tire, I found the jack in seconds before it would have taken me half an hour to search through boxes. Not to mention the indirect benefits like increased productivity, more free time, less stress, and more mindful financial decisions. Mathematics doesn't lie. Fewer things mean more money. Japanese minimalism is not just an aesthetic or a passing trend. It's a powerful financial strategy that can completely transform your relationship with money and possessions. For those just starting out, I suggest a simple challenge. Choose a room or category, like clothes or kitchen items, and apply the principles I've shared. Calculate how much you've saved and how much space you've freed up. Use those numbers as motivation to continue the process in other areas. Remember that minimalism isn't about getting rid of everything. It's about keeping only what truly adds value to your life. It's about quality over quantity. It's about intentionality instead of automatic accumulation. The transformation of my home from a cluttered space to an organized, Japanese-inspired environment didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process with results building over time, but I can assure you, every effort was worth it, not just aesthetically but financially. Today I look at my home and see not only an organized space, but also a smart investment. Every decision to refrain from buying, every item kept only if absolutely necessary, and every space utilized wisely. All of this translates to more money in the bank, more free time, and a much calmer life. Fewer things, more money. The math of minimalism couldn't be clearer. Share this blessed video so it can reach and help others like you and me. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't done so yet. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you'd like to support our channel a bit more, consider becoming a member. Here are 2 more videos for you to continue your journey. Thank you and God bless you all. See you soon.